What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Loan Limit Podcast. Thank you for being here today. Really appreciate it. I'm your girl, Chelsie. This is your girl, Jay. I mean, we've been doing this a little bit now, so I feel like we
Yeah.
need to check in. You know, I'm gonna
Ooh,
ask you to do
okay.
something that you're not ready for already. We starting hot today.
I'm so nervous.
How we feeling, Jay? How you feeling about the whole podcasting? You like it? You love it? You want some more of it? Are you eating good in the neighborhood?
Okay, you know what's so funny? Every time I tell people about the podcast, I'm like, I got hoodwinked and swindled into it.
What?
But I'm actually really digging it. I'm enjoying that. I tell people that every single time. I promise you can ask
I
anyone I've told about the
can't.
podcast. But I'm actually really enjoying it. It's good. It's interesting because like we both read for fun. And I do take like the reading that we do for the podcast like a little bit more seriously. And it's
Yeah,
like a different like muscle to exercise while reading. So I really
yeah,
appreciate that. It kind of gives me like a
yeah,
new perspective of like whatever the books that we're reading. And also just like the books like I love like the care we take in picking like what we read
yeah.
and also just, to read a specific book within a certain amount of time. Yeah. So I am actually enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. God, that question made
Good.
me so nervous because I had no idea.
I'm gonna say something crazy. I
Mm,
think that a year from now, I might be one of those annotation girlies with like the little strips, like little post-it colored note strips where they like highlight things and they write the little notes in the book. I think give it another year and I might do it because reading the books for the show and really making sure that I like take note of things.
remember? Yeah.
n- that's an aggressive word, all right? I don't know about the remembering part, but in the moment, I
Hmm.
think I might be, the little strips and the highlights and the ruler.
Knowing the
I'm not
way you
drawing hearts.
organize things, I can see that. I can see that. I don't think I will ever jump on that train with you, but I do kind of get like a book report feel when we do these, and I really love book
Right?
reports in school. I was like that kid that like loved book reports in school, so it gives me that feel, and I really enjoy it. I was a
Um,
nerd. Come on now.
I have only actually annotated one book in my entire life, and that was in high school. So, you know,
Mm.
I'm not gonna say how old I am now, just know I'm an adult. All right.
Don't
But
even call it math.
definitely don't worry about it. It's been some time. All right. But I will
It's
say
interesting.
that
I don't really like make notes and stuff, but I definitely like bookmark stuff. So in a physical
mm,
book, and it's so funny because like as we've kind of like your book reading path has evolved.
journey.
Like when
Yeah.
I used to be physical books only, what I used to do, I used to have a bookmark and then I would write down the pages on the bookmark. So not to mess up the book itself. I write down the pages on the bookmark so I know
Hmm.
in this book these pages have like a favorite quote, a favorite moment. And then like when I now do like with ebooks, I hit the little bookmark little thing and I go
Yeah.
back to it for that. So I don't really like make notes and kind of ad libs and stuff for books, but I do like mark pages that are favorites of mine. Like it's mostly like
Yeah.
moments. Like if I had like a feeling in
Yeah.
the moment, I'm like, oh, I want to feel that again.
I will say that you know how people joke about like when they die, bury their Kindle with them?
Yeah.
When I die, delete my Goodreads. Delete my Goodreads because the things that I highlight on my Kindle, nobody needs to know. Nobody.
Is
Don't worry
it
about it.
linked to Goodreads?
Yes. Yes, it is.
See, this is why I can't be on Goodreads. It's a trap.
Like,
I am very happy in my Storygraph corner. Thank you very much.
it's
I
funny
do
because,
Goodreads for this. I do Goodreads for our
yeah.
podcast. That's why I have a Goodreads. But personally, Storygraph girl.
But like I looked back on the highlights I made for like this book that we're going to talk about
Hmm.
today and I think I ran the gamut, all right? There were some cute like fluffy moments and then there were some moments where I literally was like, yo, if my grandma ever saw this. I was like just, you know
I
what?
feel like I know you enough to know the moments.
Just cremate my body and my Kindle together, all right? We don't even need to worry about
Valid.
it.
Valid.
But
Valid. Done.
I am curious now that,
Hmm.
technology has kind of elevated things for our reading journey. And you talked about the whole bookmark with the page numbers on it. What's your preferred method of reading? Are you an audiobook girly, Stan? Are you a physical copy? Or are you a digital copy kind of girl? What's your vibe here?
I want to lie. I really want to lie. I
Why?
want to lie so bad. I want
This
to
is an
lie and
honest
say
place.
I really want to say, I want to, like in
Uh-huh.
my heart, I want to say physical book paperback, but ooh, this hurts. This hurts. I'm like twitching over here. But the reality is, I probably read ebooks the most, and
Hmm.
it's the thing I actually do enjoy. Now, here's the thing: I love a good paperback. That's a reading experience. I
Yeah.
love a good paperback. But I'm just so busy. I'm on the move. Traveling is very important to me,
Yeah.
and trust me, I've traveled with books, and it gets hard. So like having one device that I can have a ton of books on versus just one book that when I finish it or not,
Yeah.
whatever, I have to keep coming back to. So yeah, I think as of right now in my life, I think ebooks are my favorite way of consuming.
That's
Um,
fair.
Paperback as like a nostalgia type of like reading
Mm.
and feeling. Um, I'm recently new to the audiobook train. I can't say
Okay.
I love them, but the
Y'all, Jay is
convenience.
so picky with her audiobook readers. All right. It's not
I'm
that she
so
doesn't like
picky.
audiobooks, it's the voices. She will literally turn an audiobook on and be like,
Yeah.
no, no.
No, I don't like their voice. Okay, here it's one of those things where it's like I was an audio producer for a while, and it when you work with voice actors and stuff, you just like know how to get it right. So as soon as I
Yeah.
turn a book on, I'm like, "Ooh, this is wrong." I'm like, "I can't do this. Give me the words. Give me the paper. I can't do this." So I think the convenience that comes with
Yeah.
audiobooks is amazing. So like for me, my free time, if I'm like not actively doing something or meeting someone, if I'm just like in my place, I like to read or I like to play video games. With an audiobook, I can do both, which is great. I can't play video games and read if I'm reading with my eyes. So I do like the convenience of doing two things at once while reading with an audiobook. Um,
Yeah.
I've said this before and I do stand on this. I don't like reading a book for the first time via audiobook. But if I've already read it, I think I can really rock with an audiobook a lot easier if it's a second read
Yeah.
of a book for me.
That's fair.
So that's to say, ebook first, paperback, physical second, and then audiobook is my order.
I don't even know how to explain what I do in my reading experience.
Enlighten me.
Here's the deal. If it is a thick fantasy novel or like one of them thick like Outlander books,
Mm-hmm.
audiobook. Don't I'm not
Okay.
my wrist hurt from holding the book, I just it's so heavy. It's, it's so heavy. Like I'm gonna show you
Mm-hmm.
these thick books I be reading, right? I think I just destroyed this cover. Like this, I can't.
Oh,
We're
that's
not
a
we're not
juicy
doing
book.
this.
I love a thick book. Ugh.
Look at that flop to it though. That's what I'm
Ugh.
talking about. Shout outs to Diana. But
See, that's the
that type
one
of
thing I
book
regret
has
about not being into fantasy. It's like they're so thick, but then
right.
they be like wanting me to know geography, and you know I'm not good at that.
But here's also something that I have to be honest about. I don't even know what book I just pulled off the shelf. Um, if I buy a physical book, I don't like to open it far. So I will read like
So
this
you don't crease the
and then just,
spine. Mm-hmm.
I'm not creasing the spine. So
Yeah,
what I do,
I'll crease a sneaker more than I'll crease a book spine.
girl, girl,
Listen,
that part.
listen.
So
I'll destroy a toe bag before I destroy my book spine.
listen, if I buy a book from the bookstore, I will check on Kindle Unlimited to see if it's on Kindle Unlimited. So then, therefore, I can read it on my Kindle and not crease the spine of my book.
I have no words. I have no
It's
word.
not
Why have the book then?
because I want the book.
Okay, but for someone who loves like special editions, like why have that trophy if you're gonna read it online when you can just wait for the special edition?
Ma'am, I do both. Ma'am, I don't think
Valid,
you understand. I will
valid.
buy a book. Like Butcher and Blackbird, I have it in paperback. Now, did she just
Hmm.
release a very nice special edition that I'm thinking about buying? Yes. But did I also read
Mm.
it on my Kindle first before I bought either one? Yes. I feel judgment coming from you, and I just don't understand why. This is an
No,
honest,
no judgment at
safe
all.
space.
I love it. You're like super supporting authors. I have no problem with it. I just asked the question because I was like, oh, okay. I'll
You
just
know,
ask the question.
listen, Diana's books, this Outlander series, it opens nicely. All right. I have opened this
Hmm.
book. Something just flew out of it. I'm terrified of what I just unmarked in here, but I've opened this. All right. The spine is beautiful.
Hmm.
But then there's other books that I've opened, and the spine said, I thought about it, and I don't want to be a spine anymore. And I just said, I
Oh,
can't have you on the shelf then. There's
yeah,
requirements. There
I agree.
is, there's a,
You
there's
get
a,
book banished. So when you want to read it, you got to go get it, but it does not get displayed. It gets book banished.
um, I will be honest, I have destroyed a spine before and then replaced it with a brand new book.
I respect that. I 1,000% respect that. No notes. No
You're gonna
notes.
give your best friend notes? All right. We're gonna talk about that off camera. All right. Out here
So for me,
giving
the
me
one with the broken
notes.
spine would be now eligible to be loaned out to friends.
Nah, it's getting donated. It's getting
Valid
donated.
too.
It, no one can know this book came from me. Because then
Now I
people
want
are
to
gonna
know
be
the
like, "Oh my
book.
god, Chelsea, you can't take care of your books? Like, what's
Oh,
wrong with
true.
you?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I get that.
yeah,
I thought it was more
yeah,
content
exactly.
wise.
Nah, we don't need to talk about that. Yeah, I'm not trying to get banned. I
Next topic.
I did have a question for you.
Hmm.
Because here's the thing. Lately, Instagram has taken over my life to the point that like by the time somebody sends me something, I've already seen it 3 times. It's
Yes.
really a problem. Um, but I was curious because Instagram Reels with those little one quotes um have taken over my TBR. But I
Yeah,
noticed
it's a
that there
problem.
aren't a lot of book reviews in real form. Do you prefer like just a picture post with like the review below it that you got to read, or are you more of like I want to see a real, make me really feel like I should read this book?
I don't like the video, what is still in the quote. Those irritate me because, like, the
Mm,
quote now makes me want to read the book, and you've given me like no other insight. But then also, like, I feel like they never like clearly make the book like you have to like go diving to find out what the book
yeah.
is, which I don't like. I hate that. Don't make me hunt information on social
Okay.
media. Um, I don't also love when they do like a maybe like a quote or something, and then like the review itself is in the caption. If I wanted to read, I'd just read the book. I wouldn't be on social media. Um, so I do like when like reels are like a person telling me like summary of a
Yeah.
book and then like going in terms of like what they liked, what they didn't.
Right.
Um, I also feel like I'm connected to that person because they read it too. Like I know there's a couple like
That's fair.
mutual like bookstagrammers that we like,
Yeah.
and one of my favorite things they do is that they kind of give you a no spoiler summary, and then they give you
Mm,
like, okay, if you read this, let's get into it. And I'm like, yes, tell me all the book things. Because sometimes, and like I know this because you hate the way I read books I don't want to read sometimes. Like sometimes I just want the essence of the book without reading the book because
Jay.
I don't want to read it,
Jay.
but I want to know what happens. I'm ignoring
Jay.
you.
You can't ignore me. Where you gonna go? Where you gonna go? I'm right here. You're just gonna close the computer. We're done.
We're done.
Cut the cameras. I don't want to talk anymore. I'm
I
done.
don't. I love that meme. I feel so bad for
Oh
that
my god.
dude. He is
He was really going
everywhere.
through it.
He was going through it, and we
Uh,
just laugh at his pain.
it be like that sometimes, but you can't just get the essence of a book, Jay. All right.
Yes, you
This
can.
is
Have you
we're
never
not
drank
making a
sparkling water? Those are the essence of all the fruits.
no, that's angry water to me. Sparkling water is just angry water. Sometimes I call it spicy water, depending on the level of carbonation. All right. In my office, my boss is like, "Oh, I need to go get spicy water," because that's what I've named it. I don't call it anything else. But you know, I would say I'm fine with the reel. I'm fine with the post. But what I
Mm-hmm.
don't want is your full Goodreads like review at the bottom. Don't give me that. Give me
No.
like 4 sentences max. Tell me, was it good? Was it bad? Was it ugly? Would you recommend it? Give me a little something something to entice me. But if you expect me to sit here and read an entire Goodreads review, I'm moving on, because now at this point,
Yeah.
if this is a reel, I've now got the song playing in my head, and my ADHD has now decided, let me Shazam this because I got to figure out what song this is. And let me just move to the comments and see what other people are saying, because I've
Yeah.
lost the words.
I don't mind when they put a post, like picture post of a book,
Yeah.
and it has like all of the hits like instantly. So it's like they're rating the tropes, the maybe a summary, like how they felt
Yeah.
about it. That I don't mind because I feel like it's also like having the reviewer's impact of the book as well.
Right.
But if you're posting things that is common knowledge or commonly found when I look up the book anyway, what are you adding to the experience? Like, I'm not trying to be judgy, but I'm like, what are you adding to the experience? That
She's
was a waste
being
of
judgy.
everybody's
It's okay. You know what, viewers? She's being judgy, and it's fine. If you hear the judgment, just go ahead and put a J in the comments. You know what I mean?
time. Oh my god,
J
there's
for
gonna be so
judgy,
many
J for
J's.
J. It's
You know what? I'm not even kidding. I didn't realize how much I eye roll at stuff until we started doing this podcast. I am like disrespectful.
wow.
I was
Look at
like,
that
ooh, this
growth.
is bad. I was like, do I eye roll like this in real life? Like all the time? And I was like,
I
probably.
can't. Oh my god.
So the reason why I say I'm not trying to judge because I have an opinion, but like I won't judge you to your face.
Except for when you're on camera.
Whose face am I mean? Yours? If I judge you, I give you a heads
Yes.
up. I give you a heads up.
Okay. You just told me you're ignoring me earlier. We're not doing
And
couples therapy right now. We're not. We can't do this.
that's tomorrow's session.
We'll talk afterwards, okay?
Offline.
I'm moving on. We're not doing that. Um we're not, for the sake of our friendship, we're not doing this. Um I don't know if it's because I've really gotten into reading in the last year. Also, today is my 1 year book anniversary on Instagram. Um,
Hey!
I think this is the first time I've watched the Olympics and gone, damn, I wish there was a book about like a hottie in this sport. You know what I mean? And I started thinking about it, and I feel like sports romances, there's a lot of them, but the sports chosen are such like a niche group of sports. Like there's rugby, there's football, there's hockey, and baseball. That's
Basketball too.
sometimes basketball. The only ones I can think of right now are by Kennedy Ryan. But like
The right move.
I
Lizzie.
oh yeah, true, true. Um
Mm-hmm.
but even that's
There's a
only
few
one book
others
out
I
of
know,
five.
but they aren't necessarily like mainstream. They're probably more in like the Black author space that have basketball.
Right.
So yeah.
Exactly. And I remember watching, shout outs to Caleb Drexel if you see this. I watched him get out of the pool and I was like, yo, he's fine. He cute with some tattoos. And I was like, why aren't there more books about swimmers? Shout outs to Allie
Yeah.
Hazelwood, because I just found out she's dropping a book next year for swimmers. I'm
Okay.
excited. Um,
Especially
but what
because
are
like swimmers have like the built-in physique for being like romance main characters. Like
body
built-in
yaddy?
physique.
Tall, thick, muscly,
Okay,
tattoos.
so random, but again, I've been consuming the Olympics via social media. But like one of the Olympic swimmers, I don't remember his name just because it was like a part of an ad or whatever. So I like when I tried to go back, it was like I refreshed it. They gotta do. I hate when you refresh and miss what you're doing. Anyway, So they were asking him, and he was like, "We don't only shave for like important events." He was like, "We practice with hair." And he was like, "We shave for the Olympics." And I thought that was the funniest thing because I never even considered that. But like, anyway,
What
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 kind
are
of
some
sports would you
sports?
want to see?
Get out of my mind. Because I was gonna ask you the same
Listen, we
question.
share sometimes. Don't be selfish.
um, I would love for swimming to be in there. And I
Hmm.
feel like rugby just doesn't get enough popularity, at least on my side of the
I
book
think that's more
world.
of like a U.S. thing though, like because it's not that popular in the states.
Listen, if someone out there wrote a book about some New Zealand rugby player who's doing the haka on the field, I'm telling you right now, take my money. Take my money. If you know
Okay,
a
but where does
book,
he play? Does he play in New
New
Zealand? Is he
Zealand.
in an international team? You
Yes.
literally just made my point. It's not that popular in the states.
Ma'am, I think you misheard what I said. I said if somebody writes a book about someone in New Zealand playing rugby and doing the haka, listen, I'm ready. All right.
I love how you got the routine down. Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying. I feel like soccer also is not as popular as it could be, even here in the States. I know there's a couple of
Mhm.
books that come to mind, but like hockey is just such a stronghold in the sports romance community right now that I'm just kind of going, listen, I love me a good goalie who can throw some hands, right? Um, but I want to read about a little something else, like a
I
quarterback,
will say this. I think like hockey romances is why I'm a fan of the NHL now. So
Yes.
they're doing their job. I think like through books you can have more exposure because it's obviously not the standard, but I think you can have quote unquote the assumption that like book readers may not also
Yeah.
unilaterally be sports fans. And so I think there can definitely be like an introduction that will make you more curious about a sport to learn more about
Yeah.
it. Um, like you were saying, like on the soccer side, like I don't like when I think of like books that have soccer in it, it's predominantly with women. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily the male league. It's the NSWL,
I don't
National Women's Soccer League. So NWSL, dyslexia.
I was like, I don't know what you're spelling right now, ma'am.
Oh, them letters flipped around on me. And so, yeah, like if I mean, I selfishly would like to see a tennis one. I, in all of my life, I think I've read two books with tennis in it, and one was like a professional that had an injury. Sorry, I have to use air quotes because from the terms, I was like, "You're not a pro." And then another one was like casual. I know. I'm a tennis
Is it
snob.
that
I
the
know it.
author doesn't know, or is it that they're not
The
a pro?
author, the editor, the publisher, they ain't play tennis like that. Because I was like,
Listen, if y'all recommend a tennis book down below, understand that Jay is going to criticize it to the nth degree. I've had
I
to
go
send
in
her
it with an
videos
open
before.
mind.
Liar. I've sent her videos before and just said, please, for the love of God, ignore the tennis and just
Yeah,
focus on the hilarity of the
you
video
have
I
to give
sent
me
you.
that
Cause like,
warning because otherwise I would just start ranting like a
I can't.
lunatic. It's like
Woo.
honestly, so when I was with my siblings, we watched King Richard, and I've been doing everything in my power to avoid that movie. I was actually very impressed. It was very good because the tennis is decent. I would say above decent. I would say it's above decent. It was really good. Now, of course, I know some of the tennis players that they use to do it, so I'm like, that makes sense. They play tennis. But then there's some other
Yeah.
movies that got tennis in it. I ain't gonna name names, but they're real popular, and I'm like, I can't even watch the promos. It hurts my eyes. It hurts my
You
soul.
know, there was something about today's book that really actually interested me. And it was football, but like post football career. And I
Yeah.
thought that was interesting. And I don't know if we should just get into today's book, but that was really what like
You
intrigued
don't want to
me
fight
was
me
like
about
this
sports
is
some more?
Jay, Jay.
No, I'm down. Let's get into the book. Let's get
I
into the
you
book.
know what? I'm going to just make a list for a therapist of all the things we're going to argue about today. So sports,
Is this the episode
um
that breaks us?
fast forwarding through the Olympics.
I can't believe you're really making a list right
You know, I want to make sure that we hit all the important topics in relationship counseling today. Is there
now.
anything
Oh
else
my
you would like me to
gosh.
put on the list?
No, we have enough stuff to go over. I don't need you to add more to it.
Is our relationship not important enough for you to make a list?
It
We hit
is.
the
It.
wall?
You're right. I think it is. We should put
Whatever.
the work
Fine
in.
then. Fine. It's fine. It's fine. You know, we'll just get into today's book.
Oh my
For
gosh.
those of y'all who don't know what we read this week, it was Love
What did we
Utley.
read this week? Oh yeah, that's
I don't
right.
know because I can't even pronounce it correctly, apparently. We read Love Utley
Love
by my
Utley.
girl, S.J. Tilly.
Yes.
Always there with me. Always.
Mhm.
Um, Jay, do you want to give them a brief summary? A
You didn't
brief
have to emphasize it like
summary?
that. I will jump in. I like SJ's writing. I think she's a good writer. Okay, so Love Utley. It is
Mm-hmm.
a second chance workplace romance, and it starts off in college with Hannah and Maddox. They kind of have a little whirlwind love on their college campus, and then
Yeah.
like the really kicks off the reading really kicks off 15 years later, where Hannah's like living her adult life with no contact to Maddox that entire time. As he went on to be a professional athlete, she is now an accountant with a corporate company, and what do you know, her company is just bought out by her college ex. And that's
Is
where all
it
the
is it just a college ex? I feel like you downgraded him. That's her college love. All right, that's her love.
Okay, let me rephrase. So this is
Thank you.
where so this is where she comes back in contact with her college love that she
Thank you.
hasn't had contact with for 15 years. And they are in the workplace where there is a specific rule about no fraternization in the workplace.
Mm,
And then this is where it's like, okay, they both had a lot of like miscommunication and such, and they are both very much still into each other. He's pursuing her, but she's basically like, no.
yeah.
And we kind of like drop in terms of like all of that drama.
Yeah. Um, right off the bat, if I spend 5 days with the same human being, we in this forever. Okay? There's no getting rid of me. All right. I would have hunted him down. All right. I would have searched to the end of the world for this man. I would have put up posters. All right. He's mine. You cannot have him. All right.
Here's my thing, and I understand. I understand. Like I read the book, I understand.
Did that hurt you?
You gotta at least what to read the book? No,
No, to say I understand.
I understand. You gotta at least send him a DM one time. Like
But this is
you
15 years ago. There's no DMing back then.
now. You send him a DM now. Like you
And get
left a
lost.
snail mail with no like confirmation he read this message at this time. Like there's not like why did you not assume that yes he may have seen it and not wanted to contact you, but also just assume that he never got it, which is what actually happened.
Yeah.
And so it's like you just try it out one time. Like I understand she was like, oh, it hurt me so much to do the one and I felt rejected. I get that. Girl, he's a professional football player and the love of your life. Try it one time. If he rejects you again, be done. Go cry in your corner and be done. But you got to try it at least one time. You can't leave snail mail and be like, I tried my best. No, no. What if water hit it? Like, there's so many things.
I can't. Um, I mean, I agree, but this is like if we're doing it from 15 years from before now, that's what 2009 if I can math correctly. Don't count me. Don't
I
trust
trust
me.
yours more
Don't
than
count
I
on
trust
me.
mine.
That part. So 2009, what is that? Like MySpace. That's beginning of Instagram with those like sepia filters. Facebook, but that's still like OG Facebook
With the
back when people were
long
like
scroll.
sending people pokes, you know what I mean? So
Facebook was wild. I forgot about that.
So, like, I could see where not having someone's phone number or email could make things a little tricky. But now that I think
Oh,
about that,
oh,
he
they didn't even mention email. You mean to tell me you didn't know his student email? Because it's probably first name, last name at the university. Come on now.
Jay,
If you
Jay,
had
you,
student
you,
email,
Jay,
he had a student
Jay,
email, you could have figured that out.
your Jamaican mama side is coming out. You're a little aggressive about this. The poor girl was
I can
scared
totally
and
hear my mom
embarrassed.
saying something like that too. Like,
Her mama was in the hospital. We gotta give her a break here, Jay.
okay, yes, that's true. That is true. She was
Yes.
struggling. She was going through it.
So as I was reading this, I did feel bad for her about having to go home. Um, when they fast forwarded those 15 years into the future, I'm assuming that means we hit 2024. Um, there was something that stood out to me. You doing your math?
Well, I was like, when did the book come out? But I feel like it did come out recently.
Yes, it came out this year.
Okay, then yeah, great.
Yeah, yeah. Um, one thing that stood out to me
I thought you
is
just picked a
that
random year. I was like, how do you just decide what year the book is in? But yeah, it came out this
I
year. That
said
makes
I've
sense.
been to the year 3000. Um,
We're not gonna do a Jumbo flashback
but
because I will get distracted.
we will not. One thing that really melted my heart right away about Maddox is when he talks about how he's never dated another girl like Hannah
Yeah,
because he couldn't fall in love with someone similar to her. It had to be her. And
yeah.
when I tell you that man won me over in like chapter 3, I think I think this man won me over before we even hit chapter 3 with that line. Like, I literally was like not crying, but like, oh,
Girl,
like
what he say in chapter 3?
chapter 3. I don't quote me. I don't think it's chapter 3, but his first like POV about Hannah and
Oh,
like
okay, yeah, yeah,
handling
yeah.
the fact that
Listen,
like
when he walked
he
out the
now has
office
a
after the interview, I was like,
he chased her down to that elevator and then hid because he knew she was hiding, and I was like,
yeah, yeah.
that's my
I was.
man.
That's intention. That homeboy got out his seat. Like,
If
yeah,
he wanted to, he
he would.
would.
Yeah, yeah, yep, yep, yep.
Yeah. Um, I do also have to shout out Maddox's pettiness throughout this entire book because the way he handled the office pain in the ass
Brandon.
Brandon
Mm-hmm.
was like chef's kiss,
Yeah,
beautiful, bellissimo. Like there's like that lunch scene when they all go to lunch for the first time and Brandon is trying to compare cars and my horse is bigger than your horse. Bull. I literally was like cackling because Maddox was like, you know what? I'm gonna move in silence.
yes.
You keep doing your dumb stuff. This girl clearly doesn't want you. I
Word,
don't even know how you got a lunch invite in the first place,
word.
but
Like,
I'ma just sit here because
yeah.
I got the host taking photos with me and I didn't even have to do anything.
I also love the way SJ wrote his celebrity because, like,
Yes.
you hear a lot of it. So, obviously, like, my world is like tennis, and obviously, I'm in the industry, so there's some actors and stuff as well. Like, you hear it when this person is like, this is where they live, this is where they work, this is where they are, that they're approachable because they understand that they have fans, but they also can just like live life because everyone's like, yeah, they're a cool person, like keep like say hey, keep it moving. You know what I mean? So I love the way
Yeah.
that she wrote his celebrity in the fact that like he's beloved. When people see him,
Hmm.
they want an autograph, they want a photo, but no one's ever disrespectful. He usually always like goes, hey, let me do this. That's fine, but he also respects the people that he's around too, and usually like either includes them or kind of just like acknowledges that too, which I
Yeah.
thought was really cool. So I think SJ did a phenomenal job of writing his celebrity in where were they? Minnesota?
Yeah. Minnesota.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because I
Minnesota.
think she's like from Minnesota, I think. So yeah, so
Yes.
mosquito biters, I have
I
notes,
didn't like that.
but other
We
than
don't.
that,
I didn't like it. I don't
because the
like
whole
it.
time
I don't
it was
like
just
it.
biters, and I was like, what are they biting? And then later on, it was like, oh, they have like the mosquito. I was like, no, she didn't. So mosquito biters, I can't jump on the train with, but But other than that, I love the way she wrote like a hometown sports hero who still lives and works in the space,
Yeah.
being accessible, but also like having his own privacy and stuff. I thought she wrote a phenomenal like local celebrity.
Can we talk about his superhero Clark Kent moment after they're leaving the restaurant for lunch and they have the car accident and he
Hmm.
hops out and chases his girl down?
Okay, I respected it until I realized that there were also two employees in the back seat, and I was like, he was like, I don't care about that.
Yo, when he was at that door being like, "Babe, can you unlock the door?" And I
Yeah,
said,
at the
"Babe."
babe. Yeah, I said exactly. I said, babe. This is what we can't talk during a
Okay.
book for the podcast where I'm just like, ah! Yeah, I was like, oh,
I
can you uncouple
literally
your
was
belt
in
or do
here
you need
like,
me to?
ah!
And then
He had his
okay,
hand on her thigh.
even the wherewithal of being in public, of still having moments
Yes.
without being embarrassing to her. Because the reality, her as the woman,
Yes.
him as the owner, it falls back on her, as we see later on
Yeah.
in the book. So he
Mm.
even being mindful of that and just being like, even though I
Yeah.
want more, I can totally take more. I'm respecting our established scenery and the boundaries that have been set. Very respectful.
Yeah.
He gets claps in my book.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um,
Brandon was
now
so okay. Here's the thing: if I'm going to praise SJ for how she wrote Maddox, I have to praise her for how she wrote Brandon too. He's annoying. He's annoying. We don't like Brandon,
why
but
do I feel a butt coming
I
along?
think she wrote a perfect quote unquote villain. And I say that
Oh,
because
yeah.
he represents he represents the character extremely well. I hate to say
S
this, but on some level we probably all have experienced that. A guy that's been like inappropriate,
Man.
uncomfortable in the workplace, but it's not extreme enough to report him. But then it's also like just enough to just like okay, just deal with it because making a fuss is a harder thing. So I love the way that SJ wrote that because that was one of the things that I processed after reading because I process a book after reading. I don't just read it right away. I processed after reading where I was just like, man, she wrote the perfect brand. Oh my gosh, you're giving such
Subtweets
Dion
during
Cole.
recordings.
You're giving such Dion Cole energy right now. It's not even funny.
Just gonna,
Um.
mhm.
Anyway, she
Continue
wrote
on.
like the perfect like corporate villain because Hannah was uncomfortable. Even later on, the other woman in the office was uncomfortable, but he had never crossed a distinctive line enough for them to report him. And then even like I think Maddox
The
felt his
way
energy because he didn't like him right
yeah.
away, even before he knew about Hannah. So I think he recognized that energy.
Okay, can we put that asterisk on it? Because he didn't like him before just purely off the fact that he was too close to Hannah physically
No,
in Earth
remember,
space.
no. Remember when they were doing the merger interviews before Maddox met Hannah, before he knew she was at the company. Brandon had his interview with them first, and he specifically said, "I don't know, I don't like him," about Maddox specifically. That's how
Oh, that's
Hannah
because
knew that she was there. He was there.
well, yeah, but that was purely he was asking him questions, and Brandon didn't like being asked questions. Could you imagine your company gets bought out
The
and you're being
audacity.
interviewed by the new company, and you get mad that they ask you questions about the
Right.
company and your job? The way I wanted to DDT this man, I wanted to stone cold stunner this man. I know I'm making a lot of WWE references, but I wanted to open up a can of whoop ass on this man from page one. The moment
Yeah.
he walked in her office, I was
Into
like,
the
"Can you go
office.
away?
Yep. Yep.
Can you please
Especially
just
because she has
go
very clear
away?"
boundaries in terms of how she does and doesn't
Yeah,
operate with him. Because she realized
that
quickly she
part.
had to establish that to protect herself while also
So
keeping
true.
an aura of not being rude enough to be an issue and be problematic in the workplace. Like, why does she have to jump through all these hoops because he's creepy?
Like, no means no. Like, go find
Always.
someone else. Don't keep trying to
Always.
find ways to be in my presence. No,
Yeah.
I don't want to go to lunch with you. And you know that. So you made it a group outing. So then, of course, I want to go because it's going to be with other people that I like and not just you. So now we
Right.
got to play musical chairs so that I don't end up sitting next to you.
And why are you right up on me? Why are we
And why I
sharing
got
a
to ride
vote?
with you.
Yeah, word.
What? Ugh.
In your
Yo,
BMW.
Brandon, if I see you in these streets, we gonna
It's
talk,
on
bro.
site.
But whatever. Whatever.
But I did like, it's interesting because it is definitely, it's a workplace romance, which I feel like you love. I feel like we got to know I feel like we got to know the coworkers, but I honestly really wish I could have known a little bit of them more. Like
There's one in
Brenda.
particular I feel that way. No,
Who?
not that one.
Is it Sarah?
We gonna talk about no.
Oh,
He
okay.
don't even have a name.
Okay, I'll wait. Oh, I know who it is. I think I know who it is. I'll wait though.
Donut Man.
Yes,
Donut Man.
I love Donut Man. I want one of his
He the
donuts
homie.
now.
Yeah.
I love Donut Man. I
But
really
like,
did. I really did.
yeah. I did notice though, because it is a workplace romance, we get smut earlier. And I don't know if that's just a me in my head thing, but we got smut 30% in.
What was
I
the first
checked.
one?
I
Was it after
checked
the
it on my
party?
Kindle. It was after the party up against her
Okay.
desk.
Yeah.
And I said, yes, thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank
This is
you.
where this is where work romance makes me a little bit nervous though. Because
Right, because then you walk
the
out and
risk.
Brandon's coming down the hallway. And I
Exactly. But
was
I
like,
think that's also like
Brandon,
makes it like more enticing or like more
which is why I
endearing, like
love
they're
it.
getting caught.
That
Yeah.
risk, that
But the
risk.
risk. The risk.
Listen, I'm
Oh
willing to
gosh, the
risk it
risk.
all for Maddox, all right? I'm willing to risk it all for that man.
Like Homegirl's entire fourth quarter's projection meeting. And I was like, oof, the risk. Because you on the executive floor. The risk.
Listen, but they're all on the same floor. It's just like spread out. So
There
it
was
doesn't
like an
really matter. You
executive
know what
like
I mean?
wing. Yeah.
Yes.
I remember one of the offices I worked in where like the executives were like they basically had the whole wall wrapped around, but the more important you are, like the further back you are, because that's like where the corner office is. And it was just like you can obviously tell when someone is walking in an area they're not normally in because it's like why are you going back there?
Right.
So like I would have liked
But
if SJ had wrote in that she was gonna go. Is his name Paul? The other like accounting guy.
yeah.
Like I would have liked if she like randomly also checked in with Paul because then it would have made it like less suspicious that she was just always in the corner office area. Now,
But
granted,
she
Maddox is
wasn't
a hands-on
always there.
owner. She was there
She went
enough
to
to
visit
ask
him
some
like
questions.
I think it was like 3 times total. The
Why
first
would
time she
she?
realized they didn't
Literally
have their
every
phone
three
number,
times she went with an empty file thingy in the jig. Why are you there, miss? What you doing here?
but nobody knew it was empty. No one knew.
Granted, but
She just said,
literally
"Hey,
in the interview process, they said you're going to be talking to Paul. She didn't ever visit Paul that one time that we know of. That's what I'm just
I
like.
ain't
I
worried
wish she
about
was just like,
Paul."
I was worried about Paul. The logistics in me, I needed the cover. I needed the cover. Go see Paul once. Hey, Paul, how you doing? Did you like your lunch? All right, bye.
you, you said, "Think about HR. Think about the policy."
Yes, yes, that's what. Go at least get a cover story,
Meanwhile,
girl. Alibi, something. Go stop by
I
somebody's
was like,
house and
"Risk it
say hi.
all. Risk it all. Risk it
Listen,
all."
I really liked the book. I also love that we didn't have a what do you call that thing? Third act breakup. Why you make that face
Girl,
like you didn't understand what I was gonna say?
because I didn't know where you were going. I was
No,
like, I
I
don't
actually
know.
really like that we didn't get a third act breakup because, and I think it was still just
Yes,
as juicy and had just enough drama in it. But I kind of love that they didn't rip my heart out again because when
that
they
part.
kind of dealt with the whole like miscommunication thing, and she was kind of like, "Oh, enough time has passed, like just move on." I was like, "Oh," and he was like, "Nope, nope, come here,
He
baby
was
girl,
like,
come sign this
"Nah,
paperwork."
come here, come here." I will say, I did appreciate the no third break act breakup,
Mhm.
but what she did was she replaced it with something that stressed me out just as much. And that was the fear of like her leaving him again. Because they have
Mm,
the
mhm.
they realize they don't have each other's numbers, and she starts to
Yeah.
panic when she gets fired and he doesn't know about it. And then he
Yeah.
shows up at the house and the mom's like, she's gone, and he starts freaking out.
Yeah.
I was sitting here like, no, 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 no more
Yeah.
miscommunication. No more
Yeah. Yeah.
miscommunication. I can't do
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. 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 For sure. For sure. For sure.
Yeah, I was like, I'll just take the third act breakup because y'all will figure that out. But this
Really?
miscommunication thing, I can't. I
I
can't.
thought this was better for me for my nerves. Oh, this was so much better for me because I feel like it lasted
No,
like shorter. Because the third act breakup, you can't like break up on one page and just get back together the next. They never broke
yes,
up.
you
There was
can.
a miss.
You break up to make up. It's in every rap song. I don't want to hear this right now.
Listen, the breakups to get back together that I've read be tearing my heart out because they be broken up for a while. All right, so
Yeah.
no, I yeah, no, I like this better for my nerves. I like this better. I was more nervous
Yeah.
about
All
them
right.
in the office than I was about this miscommunication outside the office.
So, can we talk about Ashlee Tilly writing a low key single mom trope?
Oh, yeah. I actually didn't catch that. Like she absolutely did. And can I just say, I love Chelsie. I'm very selective with the
Oh,
kids I
you
would hang out
do?
with. Wow. Did
You
I
know
make
what?
your whole day?
Here,
Are you
here
gonna write down
we're
that?
gonna we're gonna cross off one of your grievances, and
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
write.
Thank you. I feel redeemed.
I'm gonna cross off fast forward Olympics for that one. You know, I feel like I can forgive that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But no, I absolutely
No,
love
Chelsea's a great teenager.
phenomenal. Phenomenal. And I love the way that they were so adamant about like I'm your aunt, so that it never like
Yes,
she was replacing her mom, even though she has the responsibilities of it. I really, really like
yes.
that because I feel like when you get she got her at like 2 years old. That's really young. Like her still keeping her cousin's memory, Chelsea's mom's memory
Hmm.
constant to be like, this was your mom, these are our memories, whatever the case may be. I'm Aunt
Yes.
Hannah. I thought that was really, really great. Yeah, she phenomenal. And I love it, like you're saying, like she's a good teenager. I like looking like she was just like a goody two shoes, didn't have any problems. That wasn't the case. It is.
Yeah.
She was snarky. She had what do you call them? Like feedback, not
Witty
feedback.
comebacks. Witty
Yeah, like oh,
comebacks.
she was quick with it. Her questioning, what you doing, Ma?
Yo,
Like
that
I
comedic
was here
bit when
for
he
it.
thought that was his daughter, and she just said, "Ew."
No, okay, but here's the thing. When I read it the first time, and this is where I'm like, I need you when I read a book and when we can't talk about it. I'm like, what's happening? When I met Chelsie the first time and she was like, she's 12, I started doing math. I was like, this math doesn't feel right, but I'm suspicious. And I was like, but it was 15. She couldn't have been like, I was like, where'd she get the kid from? I was like, I'm confused. And then when they explained it, I said, oh, okay, cool. But like when he walked in, I was like, sir, I had the same thought. I had the same thought.
Yo, you were ready to call me, weren't you? Like, Chelsie, I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this.
Where did the kid come from?
Yeah. Their relationship, Maddox and Chelsea's relationship, was actually just as enjoyable to watch, like, grow over this book as it
Mm-hmm.
was watching Hannah and Maddox reconnect. Like, for
It was so
me,
important because Chelsea's so important to Hannah.
yes, I absolutely loved it. I was so happy, so proud of them. Absolutely.
Even the mom, even
Um,
like I love that Maddox had his own relationship with everyone that was important to
yes.
Hannah. Because like even when the mom called and was like, "Hey, Maddie," I like had to take a break. I was like,
But it was
like
also like his understanding of their family dynamic and that
yes.
they would never be split up again.
Mm-hmm.
Like I couldn't.
Shout out to the mom
There was
for being like, I can move in tomorrow.
she was like, "Oh, all right. No questions asked."
Send me movers because I'm not lifting a finger. I'll be here tomorrow. I love that because it was like you were saying, like they are important to Hannah. That was a big
Yeah.
reason as to why they lost 15 years. Like, not anyone's fault, but it was a logistical element that was just a part of life. And he
Yeah.
basically looked at it like, this comes with you. It's the full package. I got full package space. Let's go.
That part. There was one moment that I did not like in this book. And when I tell you I
Ooh.
didn't like it, I I, I was eating lunch when I read this part and it literally destroyed my stomach. Like I had to take a pause from eating because I was like, girl, why you got to break my heart this way?
I'm so
It
confused
was
right now.
right after they have their little tryst in her office after the company party, and
Mm-hmm.
he makes that joke about, oh, like you owe me and whatnot,
Oh.
and then she storms out. He shows up the next day at her house like, yo, we gonna talk this through. And
Mm-hmm.
she goes, I have to read this for anyone who's wondering what I'm looking at. She goes, I shouldn't have said anything. It doesn't matter. He goes, it does matter. She goes, why? And this is, I literally highlighted it because, woo! He goes, so I tell her the truth because I missed you. Jay. Jay. I was eating a
I
burger and
hollered.
I said, no, no.
I hollered. I hollered. Yeah.
I like, I, Maddie.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those
SJ,
things,
why you gotta hurt me?
especially with him being like a professional football player, like he had all of the options always. And like even when he
Yeah,
answered the mom in terms of like, have you ever been engaged? And he basically was like, there was never an option. Like you were the
no.
one that would be it. And since I couldn't have you, like no one else was like,
What was the
ah,
point?
ah. Because here's the thing, and especially after all that time, and I know this in so many other cases, men go, oh, I can't have you. I'm not going to wait around forever. So let me just move on. So the fact that he
That part.
actually didn't move on is huge.
He was like,
Huge.
listen, I wasn't celibate, but I'm just saying
Right.
that long
But
term
like,
it wasn't worth
listen,
it.
for a man, your heart and something else it ain't got the same equivalent. So
Yeah.
one can function without the other is what I'm gonna say to that. And for him, his heart was just never
Yeah.
an option. It was never an option.
Um
I would love to just see the
SJ
visuals
Tilly
of him in that tiny bed with her though. Like just for
I could see
like
it.
giggles. Cause I just like his feet have to be like hanging off, like knocking books off the corner or something. Like I just want to see that visual.
When he, when he rolled out of that bed in the middle of the night, I was done for. Um there was
I was
another
really waiting
moment
for
that I
Chelsie to
was,
say something about that too. Like just to be like,
yeah, like I heard a thud.
yeah, I was waiting for her to be like to say something about that.
um Listen, everybody knows that I love SJ Tilly, right? It's not a secret. I'm not trying to hide it. There is something she wrote into Maddox's character that literally made me go, is he number 2 on the book boyfriend list? Is he number 2?
Behind Jackson.
Yes. Really, because I'm not giving up Jackson's spot. Jackson, he's not going anywhere. But the hand necklace kiss that Maddox does every single time.
Oh, yeah. I get it. I get
I
it.
say, give me 14 more of those. It don't matter. I don't want to know what's in it. Just give me more. It don't
Yeah, I
matter.
get it. I get it. And can you imagine? Because
Like,
football, his hand must be huge.
but also like just the dominance of it. But like the dominance of just being like, no, you're mine. There's no
Mhm.
second questioning it. Like,
Mhm.
you're mine. And I was just like, he's
In
claiming
a safe
her.
space. In a safe space.
Yes, as long as they're both consenting in a safe space.
Yeah.
But him going every single time, you're mine. I don't want you to question it. Come here. And I was like, yes, please. Yes, yes, I will. No questions asked.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah,
such a
Ashlee
great
wrote
written
such
character.
and here I mean, here's the thing. I respect SJ. I'm not as big of a fan of hers as you are, but I have read some other things from her. And I think SJ does such a great job of writing great characters.
Yes,
And then she
including Donut
also
Guy.
done a guy for the win. Done a guy for the win. And then I also think she does a good job of like putting them in scenarios where they act true to themselves. And
Yes,
no matter how big or small the character is, I think that that was one of the consistencies in this book. And I just really appreciated that because, like I said, the way like Maddox was written as like a local celebrity, like
yeah,
what about how he treated his hometown? What about how he treated his fans? Would you think that he would treat Hannah like any less? You know what I mean? Like I never
yes,
had like a kind of like duality, like oh I'm famous here, but I'm not. Like I never felt that with him. It felt the same care that he gives to her, the same care that he gives to his company, his coworkers,
mm-hmm.
the same care that he gives to the fans and photos. Like it felt so true to his character in a consistent manner. Like I never thought he was
Yeah,
being like two faced or like, oh that's not like him. That's weird. Like no. Like even when Hannah was kind of just like, okay, like that time has passed, we talked through it, whatever. And he came back like, we're gonna have a conversation. Because not talking
right.
before was how we ended up away from each other. We're gonna talk it out
Exactly. Exactly.
now.
Um,
This is the only time that I was actually a little bit mad at him. And this is where it really ropes in it being a workplace romance. Leave the pen and paper alone. You don't need to write anything down.
no, I'm trying to figure out when you got mad at my man.
When he blackballed her work wise, even though it wasn't for like nefarious reasons, he absolutely still did it. And that's the whole point of like why there was no so like what? I'm serious. When he
No,
told
I know
Waller,
you're serious. Here's
I'm so serious.
here's here's why I'm laughing right now. Because this is the line between the light and fluffy romance reader and
Mm-hmm.
the dark reader.
Yeah.
Because me as a dark reader said, oh, that's just like basic. That's just basic.
Me, I was like, that's the whole point of why you're not supposed to date where you work because you blackball them. I was
I was
stressed.
not triggered at all. I
Oh,
said,
I was
that's right.
stressed.
You keep her. You keep her,
No!
Maddie. You keep her.
Sis was trying to find a new job to show her love for you. You wouldn't even let her.
No,
Granted, she needs to
he wants to
communicate,
see her every day.
which I respect because if you don't have any sort of like hang-ups about that, I respect that because she already had gotten a promotion in her job. She had earned, like she said, she had earned that position without him
Yeah.
completely. Does a great job at it. She's an asset to the company. I don't see no problems. Donut Guy didn't have
Also,
no problems. I don't have no problems.
if you an asset to the company, I'm not letting you go.
Right.
Now I gotta go find a whole new finance person to do the numbers that you could just
That
keep
you were
doing
already
while I
doing.
do you.
Yeah. But here's the other thing that gets a little sticky is because technically speaking, her being a top candidate, doing really well at that job and wanting to go to another company, in real life, if your company really values you, which everyone in the couple liked her, there was no issues, you would actually want to like compete against that offer. But in this case, you can't because it's like, well, now it's preferential treatment and X, Y, Z, and the reason why. I hated.
No, he could. He
I mean,
could.
he could,
He could
but
still do it. Other people would have to handle it. He just couldn't make final
right,
say in
yes.
anything.
I hated the way that HR handled the situation. I
Yo,
understand,
when I
but I
see
hated
HR in these streets,
Brenda. We gotta talk, Brenda. We gotta talk, Brenda. Cause
yo,
why you gonna smile on my
yo,
face
you
in my door
shady.
and then walk behind me and close the door? Girl, we gonna fight, Brenda.
No, no,
Catch
no.
me
Not
outside. I
even
know what
just
car is
that.
yours.
Not even just that. Why'd you wait until my man went out of town to fire me? You knew you was moving shady. You did it on purpose, as if I
Logistically,
wasn't
though,
gonna
I
call
was
him.
like, damn, this is HR smart, so I can't say. When I was reading it, I was like, damn, they did this to a damn T. But,
Number one,
but
Her
I
boss was
do.
messed up for not having her back. Number
Yes.
two, Brenda was shady because at the end of the day, if both of them are in trouble for the same thing, then both of them should be getting alerts that they in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought you were gonna do number three. Okay, for me, number three. Wait, you got a three or is it my three?
No, I'm listening to you.
Oh, my three is Dana, who's the C. What she
The
COO?
CFO? No, she's the
CEO?
CEO. He's the
She's the
owner. Yeah,
CEO. He's
she's
the
the
owner, and then Paul is the CFO. My thing was that Dana was just as shocked. So my thing is, I understand you not alerting Maddox because he's a part of the problem. I understand that part logistically,
right.
legally, all of that. But the fact that you didn't alert another C-suite level person of a C-suite of a C-suite executive being in
That
trouble,
part.
that part was like, oh, y'all moving shady. Because I understand everything in the
Levels.
bylaws, the ethical thing of letting her go. I understand all of that in terms of legality. But you guys got this information. You never ran it by the executive suite, especially since it
No one.
involved an executive person. Like you can still enact all that things, but the fact that they were never even like acknowledged and like, oh, especially doing while they were out of town, I was like, ooh.
But what also blew my mind is that they automatically fired her, but didn't go, hey, were you pressured into this? Did you feel like you
Didn't ask
had to
no
do this?
questions. Didn't ask no questions. Like, yeah, as a woman, that whole situation just like irked me. It irked me. The way they enacted it, it really irked me because, like I said, I understand the bylaws, I understand all of those things, but literally the only question they asked was like, "Is this you?" That was it. They didn't ask.
Right.
They didn't ask no questions, and they didn't question him or try to anything on him at all. And that was
They
my
didn't go
biggest
to Dana
thing.
and say, hey, the owner is moving shady. We should probably talk about this and see how we're
With
going to
the
handle
other,
this.
yeah, no, I did not like that at all. But
Wild.
even in that moment, I was very proud of Hannah how she handled herself, and I
Right.
was. This is where my little light and fluffy heart. I was so smitten by how she was like she was legit looking through the photos, like we do look cute together. I really do.
She was like, can you send me those?
She's like, I need a copy. That part was so adorable. And when
Yo,
they were like, no, you can't have a
that
copy, she was like, why? I want my photos.
no, no. My favorite part comes after that when she goes, "No, you can't have them," and Hannah goes, "That's fine. He gonna send them to me anyways."
Word. Be like, listen, I don't gotta act like I don't got control anyway. My
Mic
man
drop.
go get me a copy. My man go
She
get
said,
me a
"Don't worry
copy.
about it."
She said,
She
see,
said,
this is why
"Don't
y'all ain't even my
worry."
concern no more. Because listen, if y'all gonna fire me, fire me. And I gotta act like I don't know nothing anyway. You
Right, and then said, "Doop doop doop. Hello, Waller. Yeah,
Hey, I know
yeah,
we
I'm
just
coming
met one
over."
time, but a friend of a friend of a friend, where my job interview. Well, even with that
That
though,
part.
and this is where it does. This is where like the workplace romance gets a little sticky. I respected her by going, hey, she applied previously. I'm very much qualified. Like all the things. Like she wasn't just calling up his
Yeah,
friend for a job. She was literally didn't. She literally didn't call him up for a job. She specifically asked, "Is the position still open?" I so respected her for that because
that part.
she did not go in there with any sort of entitlement. She literally went in there in terms of like, "Hey, I applied for this job. I'm assuming you already knew and didn't give it to me because of who, like your best friend.
Right.
If the position is
I know
still
my man was
open,
being my
I would,
man.
right. If the position is still open, I would like my application to stand because I am qualified for the job." And I love the fact that Waller said, "Hey, absolutely," and moved accordingly because he knew he couldn't hire her before because of Maddox's being like, "Don't touch my girl." But now that she no longer has the position at his company, hey, I'd rather have, a top person, whatever. Come on over here. I love it and respect it. And I like that it worked out in the end in terms of like, their office is very nearby. Having the separation, because now they have the separation at work, like you can actually enjoy each other during the day. Like you never have
That
to
part.
walk into that building being cautious about anything because you don't work there anymore. Walk
That
right
part.
into his office and close the door. What you gonna do? I don't work
You know?
here. So yeah,
Don't worry
I
about
I think
it.
it for me it ended up how it ended up like
Yeah.
professionally, financially, all the things. But I definitely understand Maddox being like, I want you in my company. I want to see you every single day. And him not no longer having
Yeah.
that, but having the next best thing.
Yeah, he got her to move in. The girls moved in with her. And that
The
house
way he
sounds so
furnished that
beautiful in my
house
head.
on his own. Like I understand he like I understand interior designer all this like that.
Movers.
But
Yeah.
the fact that he made the initiative, what I thought was gonna happen when I read it like earlier on and I saw how plain the house was, I thought he was gonna be like decorate our house and give her free reign to
Yeah.
do everything. But the fact that he took initiative and was just like, even though
Yeah.
I've never seen her dorm room, but I know enough about her to kind of like she likes this, and to kind of key in with the mom and key in with Chelsie and be
Oh,
like, these are your aesthetics, you'll like these things, and put all that together.
yes.
Like, ugh, I
He really took the time to know them.
yes, I think I might read the next books in this series because like even
Hmm.
Max is very endearing to me. And he got a whole other situation happen on his end. So I'm just like I like his friends. Like I like
Do you
Tony
want me
definitely
to
got his
tell you
side
what
piece
comes
somewhere.
next?
What comes
I
next?
can tell you what comes next.
What comes
All
next?
right, so this is a duet, actually. So
Okay.
the next book is called Dear Rosie, and it's going to be Waller's story.
Oh, that's so cute.
And for everyone who's listening, I'm gonna let you guys know now if you love this book as much as we do. Dear Rosie comes out October 24th, 2024. So, depending on when you're listening
I
to
got a
this,
full
go
October.
pre-order it. Go read it, go download it, go pre-order it depending on your timeline. But yeah, it's called Dear Rosie and it's
Cute.
about Waller. I want to know who
I
Rosie
like
is.
Waller. He's a good dude. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
He
I
deserves
kind of
love.
hope,
I assumed it was gonna be Tony, so it's interesting that it's Waller. I assumed it was gonna be
yeah.
Tony.
So I think Tony is from the Sin series that she has. I haven't actually
Hmm.
read that series. So I
Okay.
think it was just like a nod because
Okay.
that cookie scene that Tony's a part of is actually a nod to the Alliance series and a
Okay.
cookie scene that happens in that we all loved.
Got it. You
So
say
I
we.
think
I
it was
haven't
like a
read it, but
nostalgia.
I assumed. Yeah.
All right, all right. Well, us SJ Tilly readers, you
Yes.
know.
SJ.
But
We. Not you and I. We. Yeah.
yes, I think that whole dinner scene is very much just a nod to the other series in the book. I mean, in the
Hmm.
world of S.J. Tilly. She
Which
calls
I
it Tilly
love.
World.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Yeah.
cute. I love when you have like standalones or series that make like little appearances in
Callbacks.
others, but
Yeah.
not enough to distract from the story and not enough to give spoilers if you haven't read the other ones.
Right. Because, like, when I got to that scene, I'll be honest, I started putting two and two together and I was like, Jay is either going to love this scene or be so mad at me because she has no idea what the heck is happening right now in this
Oh
moment.
yeah, no, I love the scene as is. It's really cute to see that
Yeah.
it had other significance beyond like my knowledge of the Tilly world.
So I do have one question for you about this.
Okay,
There's a prequel coming out that's a little novella. I don't know if
okay,
you know this or not.
I did
That
not
is
know this.
going Oh, well, yeah, because I'm obsessed. Um, so SJ is actually about to release a novella that's a prequel to this book
Hmm.
called Tackled in the Stacks. And it is all about the 1 week that Hannah and Maddox spent together in college.
Oh, that's gonna be emotional. Oof.
Are you gonna read it? You want to read it? Should we read
Is
it
it
for the
already
pod?
out? Is it already out?
No, August 29th, 2024 for everyone who's listening or watching this. That is
We
when the
can do a
prequel comes out.
novella. Let's see. Let's see. We'll see if people want us to read it for the podcast. If they want us to
Yeah.
read it for the podcast, we'll do it. If not, we'll probably just do it on our own. But
Do y'all want us to read it? Do y'all want us to break it
yeah,
down for you? Let us know in the comments for sure. Because
we kind of owe them
honestly,
a novella too. So
knowing what I know about this book, and I don't know why I decided to read the acknowledgement because I never read the acknowledgement in books. Sorry, authors. But she actually wrote this book in 4 weeks, and
ooh, that's
for this
fast.
So for this to be a 4-week turnaround book, this was phenomenal, and I don't know if I'm emotionally prepared for the prequel, like, to be honest.
Prequels always make me nervous, but knowing how significant that week on campus is, I would kind of like to see more of it. Like I felt like she addressed it perfectly in this book. Like, I don't feel like I got
Yeah.
gypped in this book. But knowing that we can have more insight into it, I'm like, ooh, give me more. Give me more.
Right. Like I want that moment where they're locked in the library together. Like I want that scene. And I want the Count of Monte Cristo moments. Like, you know what I
Yes,
mean?
yeah. I feel like it's absolutely gonna like
Now
ruin libraries for me, but I'm open to it. Yeah.
libraries might seem more interesting to me.
I mean, ruin in a good way, not a bad way. I absolutely meant in a good way, not a bad way.
Walking down the aisles being like, this would be a good one. This would be a good aisle for that.
Okay, this is like not necessarily that book. Have you ever seen the movie, The Princess, the one where he's like from Denmark and he
Oh
comes to
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
college? Yeah, like that one.
The Prince and Me.
Yes, The Prince and Me with Julia Stiles. Yeah, like the stacks. That's always what I think about. So like the fact when you said like
Yes.
the like yeah. So I mean, totally ruined in a good way, but it's
Yes.
just like I'm totally just gonna be like, ooh, this looks familiar. Like I will
So
say this, and
it's
again,
that
like in the
time.
prequel, she'll probably have more details. I couldn't figure out their whole bench situation. Like
In my head it was two benches together this way.
that's what I was thinking. But what about length? He's very tall. Just
Yeah.
scrunch up.
So how do I hold please? Now that we're doing a demonstration of
Are you
this.
gonna do a
Bench
drawing?
A.
Okay.
Bench A, bench B.
Mm-hmm.
And then where you sit is the spines, and then they put them that way. So then they went head to toe on the bench.
Okay,
You
and
just
he just
lay
scrunches.
armrest to armrest.
Oh,
Yeah.
unless there's no ending to the bench, like it's an open bench.
Oh, then they was both falling off.
No, not open on the back, open on the side. Like
Yeah. Yeah, that's
yeah,
fair. That's
okay,
fair.
okay, yeah. Because I just see his like legs hang off, but that's
Yeah.
fine. But I was
I want
thinking
to
if
know
there
if he
was
was
like
giving out
armor.
hand necklaces. I want to know when he learned how to do them hand necklace kisses.
Okay,
All right. Was it
I
in
think
college?
regardless,
Was it post Hannah?
you're gonna be reading the prequel, but we'll see if they want us to read the prequel for the podcast.
That's fair. All right, Jay. I gave you extra time.
You did. I still want to go second though.
Ugh, fine. Um, if Goodreads would let me do half stars, I would give this a 4.5.
Really,
But because Goodreads doesn't let you do half stars, it's a 4.
really.
That's the only distinction. Did I love Maddox? Yes. Did I love the story? Yes. But I don't know if this is a book that I personally just love or something that I would shout from the rooftops that everyone has to read.
Mm,
Like, I remember when I read Butcher and Blackbird for the first time, I wouldn't shut up about that book. Everybody in my office has been recommended that book.
right.
Love Utley, I finished it. I felt complete. And I just said, this is for me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It wasn't something that I needed everyone around me to read and experience with me in that moment. Was it great and were there fantastic moments? Absolutely. I'll never take anything away. But that 5-star rating for me is very much like I would stand on Mount Everest shouting it to the world. You need to read this book.
Our 5 stars are so different.
Well, for someone who doesn't know how to rate a book, I'm not surprised.
I feel judged. Anyway, um, it's
Judging.
it's interesting. It's very interesting because I was stuck between a 4 and a 4.5 on this one, but
Mm-hmm.
I actually think I'm gonna give it a 4.5. So that's why I find it's a little interesting that I bumped mine up and you
Yeah.
bumped yours down. So I think I'm giving
Only
it a
because
four and a
Goodreads
half.
won't let me.
Girl,
It's only
Storygraph lets you do half stars and quarter stars if you want to. So
listen, I gotta transfer over, all right? Give me some time.
yeah, yeah. So I think I'm giving it a 4.5. If I'm in the Goodreads
Yeah.
situation, so obviously I do rate books on Goodreads for our podcast. I think I do give it a 4 on Goodreads instead of a 5. In that regard, but I think it's a 4.5 for me, which I'm a little shocked by. Like I'm like, is it that hard? But I can't. think of a reason why I would take away the half star to put it down to a 4.
Yeah.
Like I don't have any reasons why. I think it was a really good book.
Right. We agree. It's a 4.5-star book.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's purely the fact that Goodreads won't let me do a half star
Yeah.
that we are in this
Like,
position.
for me, in order to be in the 4 and up category, it has to be, will I reread this?
Yeah.
And I absolutely think I will. I think Maddox is adorable. I really respected Hannah. I think the way that she cultivated her life after a huge change is super respectable. And how she still had boundaries, but was open for more once they kind of clarified a few things. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think I would absolutely likely reread this again. And like I said, I think I'm gonna jump into the full series because I'm into it. At first,
Yeah.
I was like, "Ugh, the whole like love letter series, whack,"
Okay.
but now I'm like, oh no, I think I'm into it.
I I have to be honest about something. I wish that SJ would do an age gap and it's Max and Chelsie. Like in the future. Not right now, but like in
Okay,
the future.
okay, but check this out.
What?
I'm on the same train with you. I literally read this and I was like, Max and Chelsea, and I was like, no,
Yes.
there's an age gap, but I was like, there's an age gap now. There can be an age gap later, especially if the like in the epilogue she did leave a trail. Him becoming a starter quarterback way sooner than expected.
At the
Chelsea very much
biters.
being a fan of his. Like
The whole cookie
the
situation
cookie
and them messaging
situation,
each other.
yes. Her knowing his number, girl, why you do that research? What you do that research for? So yes,
Also, can we talk about their jersey numbers being 19 and 91?
like 1999. What?
No, no, no. So Maddox's number is 91. And his little brother chose 19, which is the
Oh,
reverse.
I thought his number was 99. It was 91.
Now you got me questioning
I think
it.
it's 99. But I did think it was cute.
No, we're not doing this.
I did think it was cute that his was 19, and I assumed it was like a riff off of the 99. But I thought it was
I'm searching.
99. What are you searching into? Look at the cookie scene.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. I
Who's right?
don't know why that came out the way it did.
Who's right?
Personally, thank Chelsie for his number 19 cookie.
Mm-hmm.
It's 19.
Yeah, that wasn't the one in question. It's Maddox's 99 or 91.
Oh, oh, 91.
It's 91.
Yeah, she goes, all these jerseys with the 91. I'll double check it,
Okay.
but
Well, then that's
listen,
super. That's super cute. Then that's super cute. I thought it was a rendition of 99, but him just reversing the numbers is really adorable for 19 and 99 and 91.
oh no, it is 99. I
Mm.
was wrong.
It's rare I have these moments with numbers because my dyslexia would be like 17, 34, 27. So
Did you just call out a football play? What are you up to over there?
oh no,
Oklahoma.
Omaha.
No, there's also a football play called Oklahoma.
No, I know. I was also doing another one,
Yes.
Omaha.
Oh,
Girl,
you know
I
what?
watched
We're done here. We are done here.
Okay, but
we are calling this a
but
wrap.
no, I'm with you on that train. Check it out. In like 3 books time, it can happen. She's not
You
She's
know,
not biologically Hannah, so there's nothing to kind of be like, I'm
there's
open to it.
literally nothing. I'm here for it.
I'm open to
When
it.
I was reading how he took pictures of the cookie and said thank you, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I saw the connection.
Woo.
But he mentioned having like a girlfriend that he wanted to propose to on draft night. She wasn't in the box. She wasn't in the box in the epilogue because usually if you're gonna be in your game, the family has a box. The girlfriend be in the box. I don't think he's famous enough
Right.
for her to be in the wag box. So he would be in the private family box. She would be in the private. So
You're right. I also found it interesting that SJ had already announced that Waller is book 2, but the way this book ended, and it's only supposed to be a duet.
mm-hmm.
Like, is she about to transition into football from hockey, like full time in its own series?
She said
Because
full time, like she's on the.
no, you know what I mean though, because
she's putting on a jersey
no,
and gonna tackle somebody next Sunday.
I mean, because Ashlee is calling this a duet, so it's really supposed to be Love Utley and Dear Rosie. That's the series
Oh, it's
right
only
there.
two. Just
So
that's
then I
it.
was right
Hmm.
in the novella. So then I was like, you know how we have the Sleet series? Are we getting the Biter series now?
I would like one because that's two players for the team. What does Waller do? What does Waller's company do? I forget what he does because maybe he can do something for the team as well. Or
He does something
who
in
hit
tech.
or his girl. So the girl can have a job on the
Rosie.
team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just
Yeah. So
like
I think,
pulling at straws that don't exist yet when we
yeah,
can actually just wait for the books. Don't get me to
that's
write
true. I
invisible
think,
stories because I'll start running. I'll start running by
I
myself.
think it's definitely, yeah, can't have that. I think it's definitely time for us to call it a wrap here
Yes.
before we go into some dark holes.
I feel good about it.
But
Do we have anything else that we want to say about this? It was a good book. I
yeah,
felt good reading
it was such a feel good book. Like if you need one of those like happy feels books,
it. It's a good
this
palate
is it.
cleanser.
This
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um the only thing I got to say at this point is don't be an acacia, be a donut guy.
Be the donut
That's all I got.
guy. Okay, but what's your donut? What's your
Be the
donut?
donut guy.
What's your donut?
I don't want to say.
Okay. Well, chocolate with sprinkles, and to that we can bounce.
I just like a glazed twist. I'm a very basic bitch. I only eat glazed.
I like a glaze when I want a donut, but not a ton of sugar. But if I'm like, I don't care, chocolate with sprinkles.
Yeah. At this point, I'm off to Krispy Kreme.
Ooh.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of the Lone Limit Podcast.
Yep.
Once again, I'm your crazy friend, Chelsie. That's your even crazier friend, Jay. It's been real. Don't be an acacia,
Don't be an
be a
acacia.
donut guy.
Donut
Have a good
guy.
one, y'all.